Record.
Hi, Shalom. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, Shalom. Um,
Hello.
can you hear me well? Can you see me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Good. If any tech issues, please do let me know. We are waiting for a few more people to join us, and then we will start. I will present myself. My name is Tomer Aldubi, and I'm the founder and CEO of Fighting Online Antisemitism. I will shortly share my screen. So I will also tell you some more information about FOA for those here who don't know enough about the organization. We are waiting for a few more people, but I think we can also start. The meeting is recorded just for professional use, for our internal use. We are not going to share the recordings with anyone. So just for you to know, it's basically for our lectures and staff to understand better about those meetings. So it's not going to be shared. It would be very helpful if you can open your cameras, turn on your cameras for those who I cannot see at the moment. So we see, even if you're walking, or it's the best to do those meetings whenever you are in front of the computers in your room, in your house, etc. But if you're in a rush to somewhere, or if you're in the middle of something, so please turn on your cameras. I'm going to share my screen, and then we are going to start. Let's see that you can also see my screen. Yeah, right? Everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is a very exciting day because we are launching for the first time a long-term project funded by the Claims Conference with the FOA about online antisemitism. It is 11 sessions online for anybody who wants to find online content. So some of the participants here are FOA volunteers. Some are people who live abroad and wants to get some more information about that. But I guarantee you that if you are going, and hopefully you're going to participate in all of those meetings, you are going to receive lots of information that is very important for today's fight against anti-Semitism, including history of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial, including theoretical information about anti-Semitic trends that we're going to talk about it later today. And also, maybe most important, is practical content. How to fight it on TikTok, how to fight it on LinkedIn and Wikipedia, how to monitor and report and remove content using your own profile accounts or using the FOA AI system. So this is a mix of practical and theoretical project. And this is something we're doing for the first time. We are going to have only 300 people participate in this project out of other numbers of people that probably will participate only in next year project. So you can feel that you are in a way got a chance to participate in this project, which is quite unique. And you're going to have every week different session on the same day, the same time, with different lectures from different places of this world, Israel and abroad. Everything is going to be in English. So if you have any problems with English, please talk with the one who's in charge of you if you're part of the FOA, because we are going to have the same Hebrew group only. But those meetings are going to be in English only. And again, if you have specific problems, so please talk with who's in charge of you if you're part of the FOA. Before we start, I would be very happy if you can present yourself, introduce very shortly your name, where are you from, and if you are a student, a young adult, if you are not a student and not a young adult, what is your position or job? So very shortly, and because you're many people, so we need to see how we can do it efficiently. So I will go from my screen actually from right to left, kind of. So from right, there is Igor. Yes, so if you can just say your name, where are you from, if you're a student or not, and what is
sure.
it?
My name is Igor. I'm from Canada. I am a student in robotics engineering. And yeah, I was kind of, I was pretty excited about the opportunity to do something to help out, kind of just with a lot of stuff I saw online. And yeah, I'm pretty grateful to be here.
Thank you. Mai, Vered?
I'm Mai. I'm a high school student, and I'm part of FOA, volunteering.
From Israel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Fania.
Hi, I'm Fania, right? I'm a student at the Bar-Ilan University in Ramat Gan. And I'm also an FOA volunteer.
Okay, fantastic. Melanie.
Hi, I'm Melanie. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the volunteer team director. Yeah, I'm here for the first meeting to listen, to see all of our volunteers. Yeah.
Melanie, she's in charge of the FOA volunteers. If somebody maybe sees Melanie for the first time, thank you. I don't know how to spell it, but is it Sarale?
Sarah Lee, yes. So
Sarale,
yeah,
yes.
I'm from Denmark. And first of all, I'm also very, very grateful to be a part of this. And I study at the Bar-Ilan University. So thanks.
Thank you, of course. Shiran.
I am from Israel. I study law. I'm from מבשרת ציון. That's all.
Thank you. Milka.
And hi everyone, my name is Milka Kaplan. I'm a candidate of PhD in the Ben-Gurion University, and currently I'm living in the Beersheba in the Israel. So, and I'm learning machine learning and NLP. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Max.
Hi everyone, my name is Max Preschel. I am originally from Venezuela, and since 2018 I live in Miami in Florida in the USA. I'm a professional engineer. I work currently in finances, in marketing, and I am passionate about combating anti-Semitism and happy to be. I am also a volunteer since a couple of years with FOA, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Max. Thank you. Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm from Israel. I'm a high school student, and I'm here as a part of, personal involvement. And yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. Omri.
Hi, I'm Omri from Israel. I'm also from high school doing like our hours for the Bagrut to get the Bagrut. I don't know.
Thank you. Marina.
Hi, I'm Marina. I'm from Israel. I study Ben-Gurion University in Mechanical Engineering.
Thank you. Miriam.
Sorry, I just had to take my mic off mute. I'm from Toronto, Ontario. I work at York University. I have a couple of degrees in psychology, and I'm also working for the government, but I'm hoping to volunteer with FOA just due to the prolific anti-Semitism, not only in my city, but online. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Sapir.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sapir. I'm also volunteering. I currently am doing a degree in business administration and real estate. Thank you.
Thank you. Binyamin.
Sorry. My name is Benjamin Mikhaeli. I'm a student from I'm a student in the Paris College in Israel, and also a FOA volunteer.
Thank you. I don't know how to say it. Is it Yudson or Hudson, maybe? How is it?
Oh, yes, it's Hudson.
Hudson, yeah.
Yeah, my name is Hudson, and I'm a first-year student at Reichman University.
Thank you. Eliana.
Hi, I'm Eliana. I'm a student at Bar Ilan for Communications and Social Science. I'm originally from New Jersey, and now I live in Petah Tikva.
Thank you. Elina. Elina, yes? Okay. If you could unmute yourself to present yourself and shortly, or you have some problems with that? Okay. So you can also use the chat. Daniela.
Hi, I'm Daniela. I live in California in the United States. I'm currently studying sociology, and due to the crazy amounts of anti-Semitism that I've been facing over here and online, I think it's super important to learn how to address it. So thanks so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Noah?
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm an information system student at Ono Academic College, and I'm from Israel.
Thank you. Phil? Phil, if you can share your where are you from and if you are a student or what's your position or where are you based? Okay, you can also use the chat to do so. We have a few that don't have camera open. Hopefully they are here with us. Eden? No, we cannot hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now. Thank you.
So I'm 23 and I'm volunteering and I'm a student from Israel.
Thank you. Nofar?
Hi, I'm from Elat, Israel. I'm an architect and I'm volunteering as a part of my law degree.
Thank you. Ben?
Hi, I'm an FOA volunteer and I study electrical engineering in Braude, from Israel.
Thank you. Lior?
I'm a high school student and I'm from Israel.
Thank you. Mai?
Hi, I'm from Israel. I study material engineering at the Technion.
Okay, and is there someone that did not get a chance to present themselves? I think Nathan, and who did not present themselves? I see someone there. Okay, I see Nathan in the chat. Okay. Is someone that I missed? Okay, if I missed someone, I apologize. Some people checked in a bit late, so the entire list got into a big confusion. Let me share the screen. Okay, you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let me do it once again. Okay. So basically, today is going to be, also, I see more people are joining now, but today is going to be like a conversation, all of us together. Some of the meetings are going to be more lectures, Some are going to be, I would say, more conversations and open meetings. Some are going to be very practical. So this is really changing between 1 week to another. And before even we start, I really ask you to, I know that all of us are very busy. We study, we teach, we have a family, children, brothers, siblings, etc., etc. It would be amazing if only 1 hour a week for the next 11 weeks, you can find a place to sit in front of the computer. You are very welcome to do laundry, to do dishes, to do everything you want. Yes, if it's on the same time and if you can concentrate on the material, this is very important for us. We are going to start this. I will show you in a few minutes with a few questions that you're going to fill in. I'm going to send you the link in the chat, and we are going to end the project with the same one. So it's important for us that you will receive some information out of this session. So if you are concentrated and listen, you will get lots of information and you can really find anti-Semitism, hopefully pass this information, this knowledge to others. But if you do it, you know, on riding the bike or being on the bus, if you're not concentrated enough, I would say that's basically a waste of your time and a waste of our time. So it will be great if you can, you know, if you see that you cannot join every Sunday, we are going to open different groups. We have another group on Tuesday. We are going to open different groups for next month. But since we are already on the Sunday group, please try to join every Sunday. I guess you chose Sunday because this is the day works for you. So it's going to be every Sunday for the next 11 weeks. And when we finish, we are going to have a very nice online exhibition of the content that you monitor and report on of online anti-Semitic content. We're going to have an online exhibition on the website out of the content that you found. But let's start by sharing some basic information about the FOA. Maybe you will not all of you are aware of FOA. FOA vision, established in 2020, is removing online anti-Semitism because this is the way to protect Jewish lives. This is something we've seen more and more recently, and this is why we want to remove online anti-Semitic content. There are many organizations fighting anti-Semitism, many organizations doing hasbara or diplomacy. We are a bit different. We focus on the online sphere, on removing content and about anti-Semitism, and not about, I would say, creating content or explaining the situation in Israel or explaining the conflict. This is why we are a bit unique compared to other organizations. We have thousands of activists from Canada to the United States, Latin America, Europe, Israel, and other parts of the world. Last year, we had about 200 educational workshops in 5 different languages. Currently, we have the same project as you have right now in New Jersey, and we are about to start the same in Latin America. And together with the volunteers, in the last 5 years since FOA was established, about 5 years, we monitored, as you can see on the screen, tens of thousands of content and removed 40% out of the content. We also have a small group of volunteers that fight terror content. And again, if you're volunteers of the FOA, if you're willing to be volunteers of the FOA, so you can talk with us later, so we can find a special team for you, either monitoring content or creating, educating content, or being as part of this, I would say, OSINT and terror penetrating groups, which is a different small team that we have of the FOA. But before we start, as I said before, I'm going to send you here on the chat a link, a URL link to something that I really ask you to fill in with your email. All of you have an email that you use this email address to become a member of this project. So I'm going to send you this. Take, let's say, up to 5 minutes. I don't think it requires more than 5 minutes. And whenever you go on the first page, the first page is only in Hebrew, but the second one and the entire questions, you can choose either Hebrew or English. So it's really up to you. So the first page currently is just in Hebrew. You should tick continue. So you approve the policy of the privacy content, and then you can tick continue. Once you press continued, then you can Of course, use the English or Hebrew, and let's have some 5 minutes to fill in those questions. If you have any tech questions, if you cannot go into link or something, please let me know.
I think I have an issue. I've seen Hebrew, it's asking for ID, maybe?
No, it's not an ID. This should be the email. The email address, yes. That's the email address you used to register for this program.
Got it. Thanks, it's working.
I get everything in Hebrew. All the questions.
Tomer, you're in silence. We can't hear you.
So on the left side on the screen, you can switch between English to Hebrew on the top.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's the email. It's not an ID, it's the email that you registered to become part of this program.
Yes.
Only one page of questions, right?
Exactly. Once you finish this, so you can send some bit and then you finish that. Yeah. Do we need some more minutes to? Everybody finished, or we need or someone? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen back. Okay. So today we are going to talk about, I would say, what we can be called an introduction to the next meetings of this project, of this program. And we're going to talk very briefly about the IRA definition, about the importance of fighting online anti-Semitism, and some anti-Semitic trends that you're going to see for the first time, because it was not published anywhere. It is going to be published at the end of the month, but you're going to see it for the first time. So first of all, it is important for us to understand, what does anti-Semitism mean? And if I ask you this question, many of you would say anti-Jewish hate. Some people talk about Muslim because we came from the same, I would say the same background, the same history, or at least the same word of anti-Semitism, Shem. But today when we talk about anti-Semitism, we talk mostly about anti-Jewish hate, anti-Zionist hate, anti-Israeli hate. Well, while hate against Muslim usually is called today Islamophobia or hate against Muslim. Today, this is quite clear and known whenever people say anti-Semitism. This is especially about Jewish people and about other people who recognize themselves as Jews or Zionists. There is a definition that's very important to understand this definition. I'm sure you're going to hear about it maybe in every second meeting. This is the IRA definition. We are not going to read the entire definition because you can also do it whenever you Google the IRA definition. You will see it's quite short. You can find it in many different languages: English, Spanish, Hebrew, Portuguese, etc., etc. And it has three different types, I would say, not types, but topics. It talks about the state of Israel, Holocaust denial, and classical anti-Semitism. Basically, this definition helps us to define what anti-Semitism is. Because we are a group of 30 people from different places, different countries with different opinions, some are more to the right, some are more to the left, we need to have a definition that all of us can agree. And this definition was adopted by at least 30 European countries, of course, also the State of Israel, United States, and so many other, I would say, students' organizations, and so many other small and large cities in the States and other parts of the world. This is the leading definition of anti-Semitism, which basically says that if someone is calling for harming or killing Jews, this is anti-Semitic. If someone denying the Holocaust, this is also anti-Semitic. If someone uses stereotype, I would say if someone says the Jews have a big nose, like we know from history, or the Jews want to control the world, or the Zionists want to control the world, this is also part of this definition. This is also part of this anti-Semitic content. And things become more complicated whenever we talk about the state of Israel. But also this definition basically says that if someone accuses any Jew that lives in Canada or in the States or in Mexico of what's happening now in Israel, this is also anti-Semitic content. It's like going to, I would say, maybe any a Russian person or any other citizen of any other country and saying because of you, this is what's happening in Ukraine or in Russia or in Africa or in other parts of the world. This is also part of this definition. This is also to be considered anti-Semitic content. And this definition talks also about Israelis, about Zionists, and very important to acknowledge that this definition said that if someone says that the Jewish people they do not have the right of self-determination, this is also anti-Semitic. This definition is more of an educational definition. It's not something that you can really go to the police or to the social media platform and say, look, you must enforce this definition. But this is important to acknowledge that it exists because whenever we talk to the social media platforms, they are aware of this definition. Many organizations, many people call the platforms to adopt this definition. And actually the platforms have adopted some of these definition phrases and examples, not 100%, but some of this content. And this is also something that whenever, let's say you live in Manhattan, or you live in Colombia, or you live in Toronto, whenever the city or the council or the colony or whatever, wherever you live in a specific place, and the definition is there, it will be more easier for you to fight anti-Semitism because it means that someone cared enough about fighting anti-Semitism by adopting this definition. And whenever I talk with different communities, different federations, other parts, mostly in the States, where the definition has not been adopted, I always encourage them to find a way to convince, wherever they need to convince, to adopt the definition. This is more of a declaration, I would say, that means that in the place they live, it's important to fight anti-Semitism. So here's a question for you, and you're very welcome to unmute yourself also and to answer the question. Have you ever been a victim of online antisemitism? Please, if someone just want to unmute or use the chat, go ahead. Do you have any examples of online anti-Semitic content? If not, that's amazing. If you've never seen any online anti-Semitic content, that's amazing. But I think since October 7th, it's quite difficult to know. Who's the brave that wants to be the first? And yes, Libby.
I can try to talk. I think I've been a victim of online anti-Semitism every time like I tweet something or I comment videos of like on TikTok. A lot of people usually answer to me with, I don't know, things about the Jews and you should be killed or that's happened to you because you're a Jew or I don't know, a lot of things. So yeah, I think I've been a victim, and I think even every day of my life, like every time I tweet something or whatever.
Okay, thank you. Who else wants to share?
I actually have one.
Yes, please.
I remember in high school, in Denmark, where I saw on Facebook, that my classmate, he posted a picture of Hitler where there was a quote stating that if he could kill all Jews, he would have done it, but he chose to let some survive, and see how bad they were towards the world. And actually, I wasn't aware that it was anti-Semitic at that time because I was only 14 years old.
But now you are aware.
Of course.
Now you are aware, and this is sad and anti-Semitic for sure. Who else wants to share something? Yes, Igor, please.
Sure. So in Canada especially, it's very concerning how quickly a lot of it has happened. So I used to work with Hillel at a very big university here, and I was really shocked when like it wasn't just the actual anti-Semitism that took place. What actually was even worse was the when you try to report it, when you try to do something about it, you're actually finding resistance even in the in like the accountability mechanism. So like the university would throw out our they'd throw out our registration papers for Hillel. They'd because yeah, there'd be like people would report anti-Semitic stuff, nothing would be done about it. You can see it was being treated differently, and this was even like 8 years ago. So it was yeah, it's kind of it's like it's progressed now, and now it's to the point where people openly talk about it, and like you'll hear it, and especially among like certain, especially like Toronto is a very multicultural city, and you'll hear things and it's like 5 years ago people would have been shocked, but today it's like people aren't even responding to it. It's more like you're hearing things like, oh, you deserve this. And it's yeah, it's it's actually like the speed at which it changed was very, very kind of scary. So
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot to do, and hopefully with you or with this group and the other group and hundreds of people join on, we will succeed. But we have a lot to do in Canada, in other places of the world. Maybe not in Israel, but still in other places of the world, there's lots of anti-Semitism. Last example, someone who wanted to share about online anti-Semitic content, any example that you've seen on the online sphere. Let's see if I see someone from Israel, maybe someone that was in Israel and sees lots of online content, even though you're based in Israel. Okay, so we can assume at least that even if you don't share any example that most of you have seen. Oh, sorry, Fanny, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just wanted to say I was never personally attacked because I'm not active on social media, meaning I don't post anything myself. But I think I can speak for everybody when I say that we've all seen it, and even as people have already said, it has been happening, since the beginnings of internet. When I was a little kid, in Russia, I saw a ton of anti-Semitic content on social platforms, and it was completely unmediated.
Thank you. And Liana, please.
Yeah, I just realized I remember now someone that I know who was a soldier. Actually, someone made a fake account pretending to be her and writing things like baby killer and like the last thing a Palestinian child sees and things like that. So thankfully that was taken down. But this was recent and first time I've seen something like that. Yeah.
Was it online?
Yeah, it was online. It was on Instagram. Someone, a random person, I don't know, made a fake account of her on Instagram.
Yes, yeah. So thank you for all the examples that you shared. I see lots on also on the chat. I see Phil said that in the previous apartment somebody wrote "Goodbye Jew" on this door. Yes, so clearly a very bad anti-Semitic, and also that's quite sad because this can lead to any violent in-person attack. So this might be also dangerous for you, for everybody who experienced that. And the president of the union I belong often posts Free Palestine BDS message to members. So yes, since October 7th, there has been more and more of online anti-Semitic content, which goes also, of course, to the offline sphere. We're going to talk about it as well. Some of the examples that I'm going to show you today are going to be maybe difficult, but don't worry, they are not going to be like those very bad atrocities. Just most likely you've seen some of the examples online before. Let's talk about the rise of online anti-Semitic content since October 7th. Again, those numbers and those data have not been shared yet. I'm going to share it with you for the first time. This is a summary of FOA data and report for 2024, which is going to be published on the International Holocaust Remembrance Day on the 27th and the end of this month. But it's very important for you to understand some of our work last year. For us, this is very important to talk about removing content, not just how much we found, how much we monitored. For us, it's very important to understand which platform removes content and which kind of content. So TikTok was the highest, was the best platform in removing content. I know that maybe you already have some questions about it. I can explain in a second. Facebook and Instagram, and then as you can see, and there was Twitter and YouTube. This go by percentage. There are some platforms here, if you speak Russian, so probably you know of Kontakte, which is mostly for Russian speakers, but not just. Many people that are blocked on Facebook because they're anti-Semitic, they move to Kontakte, where this is almost impossible to remove and to change something on this platform, even though we have about 15% removal rate. And there is Telegram and Gab. We are going to also talk about Gab with 0% of content. This is a very extreme right-wing platform from the United States. The reason is that TikTok can be considered as a very bad anti-Semitic platform, but mostly when it goes to anti-Israeli content, and we are going to talk more about the policy of TikTok in the following sessions. But for now, of course, if you have any questions later on, I would be happy to answer. For now, we can also keep it that TikTok removes most of the content compared to other platforms. Another important thing to know is that since October 7, we have seen more content that is about, I would say, anti-Israeli content, anti-Zionist content, and most important, supporting terrorism and content that calls for being violent against Jews, Zionists, and Israelis. Whenever we compared until October 7th, most of the content that we found there was classic anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. Since the war, we see clearly, as you just said, as you just shared, we see more and more content that calls, let's do something against Jews, against Zionists, let's be more active, let's be more violent. And more content that supports terror organizations like Hamas, which is against the policy of the platform because Hamas is considered to be a terror organization in the United States. Whenever we talk about some examples of content, still the most leading anti-Semitic conspiracy theory is that Jews want to control the world. This has not been changed since October 7th. Before the war, there was, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic, which back then we thought there was the most anti-Semitic period for Jews and Israelis and Zionists, but now, because of the war, we see even higher rates of anti-Semitic content. But back then, we were blamed to spread the COVID-19, and everybody said the COVID-19 was maybe also created by Jews and Israelis, and the vaccine as well, etc., etc. And this is the most of the content we see online in different ways, in different, I would say, angles, talks about that we want to control the world. Another example that we see every 9/11 every year, we see lots of examples that says against that the Zionists did 9/11, not the Muslim, not any terror organization. It's the Zionist, the Mossad. This is something we see every year. And also today with the war, even with the war in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, even whenever we win the Eurovision with Neta Barzilai, if you remember, every time the conspiracy theory would be, we want to control the world. And if you remember Kanye West, that he apologized, but he basically said the same, that we want to control Hollywood, media, cinema, movies, etc., etc. This would be basically the leading, I would say, conspiracy theory. Again, sorry for the examples, but I think it's important to acknowledge what we face against. Since October 7, we see more and more of these kind of examples, being very violent against Jews. And this, of course, as we know, goes into the protests that we see in person in different places, in London, in Berlin, in Paris, in the United States, on campuses, etc., etc. It starts online and it goes offline. Many users, fake accounts or real accounts, they also support terror. They also support Hamas. This is not saying that if someone says Free Palestine, we will talk about it later on, this usually is not going to be considered as anti-Semitic. But it's all about the context, as someone says before. It's all about the context. If someone says, Free Palestine, I support Hamas for what they did, this would be anti-Semitic content. And this would be also content that we can remove from the social media platform. And again, we will talk about the policy in the next meetings. So here's the question for you. Why is it so important to remove anti-Semitic content? And maybe if you think that it's not important, so we can also have discussion about that. I would be very happy to hear your opinion, because this is the entire thing FOA does. This is why you signed up for this project. Why do you think this is so important? Yes, Benjamin or Benjamin. Yes, please.
I think that it's really important to removing this type of content, because in a large part, what it does is just spreading the hate and blaming others and foreigners and Jews for everything that happened, everything wrong, blaming us. This is the reason why I think it's really important to remove it and fight it.
Thank you. Yes, for sure. I agree with you. That's very important. Fania.
Well, first of all, I think it's crucial because, as you said, it can become reality. It's not just words. And if somebody, posts incitement of violence on online platforms, people can actually be incited to act violently. And also, I can speak for, my generation. I think our source of news is majorly social platforms. And so we are somewhat worse at distinguishing what is true and what is false. And when the amount of disinformation and misinformation is, you know, this big, it really affects how, again, how the newest generation views the world, right? Because we majorly do believe what we see on social platforms.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I agree with that. Anyone else wants to share why is it important to fight online content? Yes, Igor.
I think that so people can have group dynamics, which like sometimes when a group is riled up, they can do things that they really wouldn't do on their own. And additionally, once like so sometimes you'll have people, I know we saw this a few years ago, we saw like mass hysteria take place, and often it can lead to some really, it's like if it's not controlled, like there isn't some mechanism to kind of hold people accountable for that, things could often slip up. And like they said, it can slip into real world violence. And like we've been actually seeing it, especially even in Canada. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Jonathan wrote in the chat, but I didn't understand if you can maybe unmute yourself and explain. Because I didn't quite understand, or if you'd like me to read.
I just mean that a lot of times people who try to fight anti-Semitism, they either like reply to argue with the person who posted it or post a comment saying it's false or whatever, and then they just unintentionally promote the post by commenting.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you. Milka?
So I want to add that a lot of people were started to think that this content, anti-Semitic content, is true, and they don't want to check it. And they believe it is.
Exactly. And we have someone, Marina said that this is important because teenagers, they could not continue the wave of anti-Semitism to create a new world without it, without anti-Semitism. So thank you for anyone who shared. I want to also emphasize the importance by giving you an example about the Pittsburgh synagogue attack. I don't know if you've heard about it. It was in 2018 in the United States, what can be considered maybe until today, the worst or the most severe anti-Semitic attack. And this was a outsider inside a synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2018. After this incident or this worst terror attack happened, it was discovered that Robert Bowers, who's now in jail, he used this platform that I showed you before, Gab, G-A-B, which is mostly operated in the States. By the way, recently, they blocked Israelis to go into this website. They blocked the Israel if you're based in Israel, because they know that we are doing some monitor work there. So but now you need to use VPN. So they are aware of us fighting back. But Robert Bowers, 2 hours before we entered the synagogue, he was talking on this, he was writing on this platform about HIAS, H-I-A-S, which is an organization that used to help Jews to immigrate to the States, but not anymore because now Jews basically can take a flight. But this organization helps immigrants today and refugees. It is based in Israel and in so many other countries of the world, maybe almost every country. And he said that the Jews, basically, the Jewish people, bring immigrants, not white people, to the States. And he said that I cannot sit by and watch. And 2 hours after, he went to the synagogue and murdered and injured dozens of Jews. Back then, no one was monitoring this platform. Today, we are monitoring this platform, hopefully to prevent the next terror attack. Today, we understand more and more and more that when something is online, as someone said before, more and more people will do it in a group. More and more people will get affected by just one crazy person. I want to give you another example. This is more relevant from VK, Contacte. This is something we at FOA found 2 years ago. Very surprisingly, the platform answered us and also it was published on Ynet in Israel, and the user was banned. This was from South Carolina in the United States, a user that basically said, I have this weapon, and I'm going to use this weapon against Jews in the place he lived. He was active. We followed this user for many weeks, and then we discovered this post. And luckily, we prevented him to do any attack. Even if he was not planning, just talking about it, his account was blocked and deleted. And this is something that we hopefully prevented. And another example that is maybe more relevant, this is something we found before the war on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, as you know, is owned by Meta today. We found 30 groups on WhatsApp. As you know, today you can use WhatsApp as a community. So you can have community for your pets, you can have community for your children, and you can have community for people who hate Jews. This was community of anti-Semitic people, mostly members Muslim from Germany and some from Chile and Latin America. They were very active in planning violent attacks against people and Jews in Germany. And because we collaborate with, I would say, the security forces that we should collaborate on this matter, we forward this information to Meta, to WhatsApp, and to the security, anybody that we needs to be aware. And hopefully we prevented those attacks to exist, and also closed the WhatsApp groups of those users. I just gave you 3 examples, but whenever I say all the time is that you're going to find some anti-Semitic content, and you're going to be very active on doing that. Let's say we have found together 10,000 links every month. It is enough if only one of those links, one of the users, really was about to do something in a synagogue, in a high school, in school, even terror attacks in Israel by terror organizations from the West Bank or Gaza. Even if we prevented one attack to murder 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 people, this is enough. Because this means a lot. This is enough. I mean, this is what we need to do in order to find anti-Semitism online. Today, the online and the offline work together. As you can see, the protests go online to Twitter and TikTok, and from TikTok, they are encouraged to go to protest and to be active and violent against Jews. Today, this is a mix of online and offline content, and this is why we fight online anti-Semitic content. Before we sum up, any questions about this presentation? Yes, Fania, you had a question.
Yeah, I had a question because I'm monitoring now, and I've encountered many posts that also talk about the fact that Jews are letting, Arabs or non-whites into the US in order to misplace white people, or the whole thing. And I'm wondering whether this idea became especially popular after the attack, or whether it was already in the air at the time.
Are you asking about specific attacks that you are monitoring at the moment?
I'm asking about the synagogue attack that you were talking about. Like, is this an idea that emerged because of this person, or is it something that's already been there?
That's the replacement theory, which is all around.
Yeah, right. Now it is. I'm asking, like, maybe it originated with the attacker,
Are you asking if he came up with the idea to attack Jews?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So basically, he was very active on this platform for a long time. Whenever he started, he was active. He was part of the groups on this platform. He was talking with, I would say, friends or colleagues, other people who hate Jews. They were talking about the same content. And because this platform, this is almost impossible to remove any content on this platform. That's why they continued to talk about that and affect one another. Eventually, he was anti-Semitic enough or stupid enough or whatever enough to continue and to do this in-person attack. But the idea was probably his, and also his friends and colleagues. They were part of a community, and he was operating alone at the synagogue, but it was for sure affected by other people. I'm not sure enough to tell rather if it was affected whenever it started to be on this website or before. You know, some people go on TikTok, on Twitter, and then they get some anti-Semitic opinion. Some people are already anti-Semitic. I'm not sure enough about that. But there's lots of material about this attack. So you can really Google Gab, JB, or Pittsburgh attack. You will find lots of research and interviews and investigation about him. And recently he got his punishment also. So you're very welcome to read more online. Any other questions before we sum up? The recordings are not going to be sent to you. The recordings are going to just for internal use. We are going to send you some guides and summaries of the sessions. So you're going to get some summaries and specific PDF guides of those sessions, but not the entire recording. I saw there was a question about it in the chat. So what's next for us? Again, 11 sessions today was the first one, so 10 sessions more. As you can see, you've all received the dates every week, okay? As you can see, it's every the 12th. There are dates here of another meeting, but you are on the 12th. Today is in the 12th, so 12th, 19, 26, etc., etc. And you're going to have really very interesting workshops with lectures from Europe, from other parts of the world, from Israel, about different topics, theoretical content, practical content. Please try to log in on time. We want to start on time and finish on time. You have different schedule. We don't want to take it longer unless you have some question, then we are very happy to stay. At the end of the project, we're going to have another question like you filled up today. So we will see if this was really impactful for you, if you really studied something. And what I want to finish and by saying is that, first of all, you're very welcome to follow us on social media. If you haven't done so far, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, choose whatever you feel like. Please follow us on social media. You can scan the QR code and go directly to that. Please subscribe to our newsletter list. On the newsletter list, you will get more information. For example, on the 26th, we are going to have also a webinar about Holocaust denial. So we're going to have, as you can see, on the 26th, we are going to have also a webinar about Holocaust denial. It is also, we have your webinar, but we have a special one because this is one day before the Holocaust International Day. And the last thing I want to say is that we are starting now, I would say, a 12 weeks program together. We are going for the Israeli volunteers, we are going to have an in-person conference as we do twice a year. We are going to have the big one in summer, probably around May, end of May, and a smaller one next month. We are going to send you all the details. Usually this is in Tel Aviv, in-person meeting for all the Israeli volunteers or everybody who comes from abroad. But I want to really guarantee you that today there is more anti-Semitism than ever before. But we believe and we see, especially last year, that there are so many things that we can do if we work together. So please start this project with very open-minded, I would say, head, be part of those sessions, of those workshops. If you have any questions, anything that you want, you have the email of Maya, who's in charge of the project, or Melanie for the Israeli volunteers. Join us for the next meetings, and I'm sure that you will be able to remove anti-Semitic content, and together we will be able to maybe change the policy of the platform as we did recently in July, and much more. Thank you very much for joining this evening, this afternoon, this morning, and looking forward for next meeting next Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
afternoon. Thank you very much.